Hello everybody, this is Simon with Let's Play Mega Man Quantum. Our first opponent on the second roster is going to be Napalm Man, with one of my favorite stages from Mega Man Quantum, mostly because it manages to be really inventive and not really like its original iteration, and all of its new gimmicks are really fun to play around with. The first one being that you cannot progress, that's too bad. No, it is actually a gentle and harmless introduction to these disappearing stone blocks that will come into full effect later on, as you're going to see. Also tigers, but of course we're going to be indoors all the time now. They're still going to be a very credible threat. As you see here, our special weapon energy does not get refilled between stages, as we are technically in Wily's fortress all the time now. All of these stages are inside the tank, which is kind of bad as all things considered. By the way, tigers, no longer a problem because we now have Mega Man 4's weapon arsenal, which is kind of pretty damn good at points. What do we do about this fire? Well, if the answer was douse it with rain, then congratulations, you have a brain. And I really like that the game is just being logical like this. We already had this with sand after all. So this is the only appearance of our dear brother, and it is a really nice one because he refills our weapon energy. Again, I really do not quite understand why the weapon energy does not get refilled from a gameplay perspective, because after all, I am pretty liberal in my usage of them and I never run out in a single stage. The only real reason I can think of is to give the weapon energy refill that Dr. Light offers relevance, which is a really weak argument in my opinion. So yeah, I do not really get it. Second gimmick of this level. These drills from Mega Man 5 finally have a purpose beside being instant kill deliverers in a corridor where they can just spawn from off-screen and kill you. It was really not that fun in that game, and they were just in that single instance, which kind of made them pointless, but here they're in full effect and really nice. This one, for example, here, if you took the time to get the weapon energy, you're not fucked. Really nice of you developers. If I hadn't hesitated here, I could jump into the ditch, but it's kind of risky now. You can still save yourself because the ceiling is not there. Also very nice of them, you do not have to know that you have to book it in order to get into the ditch, even though you could theoretically think it's going to be okay with reflexes, and here this jump is not nearly as hard as you'd think it is. Really nice of them. Yeah, again, I could really go with infinite weapon energy and it would not change a single thing, especially considering how often I can use Rain Flush or Pharaoh Shot or anything really. They're kind of liberal here, especially considering that you cannot have as many shots, whoops, as you had on the NES. These missiles here, I think I'm pretty clever in stopping time. Actually, I'm not, because the debris gets stopped too. I knew that, but it is kind of funny. That's actually a pretty nasty trap, because once they hit the wall, the debris will come flying at you, meaning that you are literally trapped between a rock and a hard place. It's not too fun. This, however, is really clever and I really like it. The cock blocker here is definitely foreshadowing the ones that come here, so you know that they're coming and suddenly they're not nearly as big of a problem. You could even slide under this one here and do not have to wait. I just chose to illustrate my point, you know. Suddenly, if you know that they're coming, I have far less of a problem with them. This is how I dodged the debris, by the way, and I really should have continued here because, well, these missiles are kind of assholes after all, but the principle stands, you know. These guys are surprisingly weak against Ring Boomerang, that means it takes only 2 shots. It's still kind of weak sauce as a weapon, but I will not complain too much, because it is so useful in getting the items. This is exactly what I needed, a secondary purpose to make it relevant. Also you can spam it to hell and back again, why not have infinite weapon energy as that pet peeve. Also, they really like the falling stones gimmick. I cannot blame them because it is actually pretty cool. I'm also pretty careful here when going down the bottom route, because the flames will come back after a while and you cannot really see it coming. Too bad. This is not a trap, because the drill will catch you. Really nice. Even if you think, however, that you're being clever and should go down there, don't. At least they give you an extra life if you take the obvious trap and fall into it by design. Now this is really interesting. First of all, foreshadowing by the cock blocker that there is going to be a second one here, so you cannot really blame the game if you get hit by that. Second of all, the entire principle of the thing. You're racing, and this is something that we have not really seen so far in Mega Man games. But this game here really likes the concept of having you go in a hurry, and I love it. This is exactly what the slide was designed for. It's not only a speedrun tactic, it is a very legitimate gameplay enhancement, and they haven't really done much with it so far. Quantum, however, is doing its very best to squeeze everything out of the engine it can, and at the end here, another new inventive solution for the drills being, well, actual drills, you know, and man, I really love this stage. I cannot tell you enough. So Napalm Man. Napalm Man is surprisingly hard here because, well, the screen size means that this explosion here is huge. Did you see that? Did you really think I would get hit by it? The only way you can actually dodge it is like this. I'm kind of proud of that. And actually, I do not think it is. It might be almost impossible to be far enough away to goad him into only using the missiles. So you really have to be careful in this fight. Fortunately enough, you can still almost damage race him. But if I had not dodged that one very nasty dodge at the middle of the fight, then it would have been toast. Napalm Man's weapon is still pretty good in my opinion, because you can rapid fire it. It kind of loses out because we now have the Mega Man 4 arsenal, at least half of it, and the good half of it. So yeah, good on Mega for closing his eyes to the explosion lest they be damaged. More on napalm bombs next time, however, when we use them to crack a little stone or two. For now, thank you very much for your attention.